Okay, what's going on? This is Dev, and I'm going to be doing a Archeage video. Basically, this video is going to be covering most of the basic things that you should know, or kind of get you a head start on things that you'll need to know about Archeage. When you're coming into this game, there's two opposing factions. You've got the people of Nuya and the people of Harian. These two continents are constantly at war with each other. There's areas along the coastal lines that are going to go into contention, and basically they'll go to war, kind of. When you're playing the game, you're going to kind of want to avoid those unless you're going to want a PvP. It's their way of trying to keep PvP balanced. Like, most of those contested areas, they go to contested for periods of times and then it goes away. So during the contention, people fight over castles and different points on those, and while they're in contention, it's kind of a war zone. You can steer clear from them, but it's player choice. I mean, if you want to fight, go fight. As far as the races, both sides have like a specific race to them. There's, on the Nuian, you have the elf and a human, and on the Harian you have the these tigers. I forget what they're called, but you have these and a human. And basically, depending on which side you choose, you're gonna have different things that kind of play into your story and into your character and all that kind of stuff, because it kind of tells the whole lore about your side and why it is your side and all that kind of stuff. So here I'm going to jump in on my low level guy here and kind of go over. When you first create a character, you're going to choose one of those sides. You start off with a generic 8 classes to choose from, and those classes aren't all the classes in the game, and it's not even the class that you're going to be playing. When you choose a class, you're choosing one of 3 classes that you're going to be merging together to create your class. When you play the game, as you level up, it unlocks the additional classes that you're going to be using to create your class. So there's a lot of flexibility as far as like what you make your class. It doesn't have to be just a warrior. It can be a warrior with the healer, with the caster, which makes him, you know, kind of a paladin hybrid kind of thing. And there's names for all different kinds. There's over 120 different classes. I'm not going to go into all of them because there's just too damn many. But as far as the class that I'm playing right now, he's kind of all warrior. Like, he has a little bit of ranger. I think I added to him just so that he could use a bow better. But overall, I kind of wanted him to be melee. And I'm going to go over some of the tricky things that you should do just to help you in your gameplay. So here I am, once it all finishes loading. Okay, some things that you can do for your character starting off when you first get into game. First thing, DirectX 11 is kind of buggy. I usually stick with DirectX 9. You won't really see that much of a difference. Like, here's 9. Here's 11. As you can see, it looks just about the same. Like, there's not really a huge difference as far as graphics go. And the DirectX 9 is a lot less buggy, and a lot of people are just sticking with the DirectX 9 until they finish fixing the DirectX 11. And this is, mind you, the game's not released, so I mean, you've got it basically as it is. I mean, once it gets done, maybe they'll have the DirectX 11 fully working and working a lot better, hopefully. Some other things. I always turn on show health stats because I don't like just bars. I like being able to see my HP on my bars. Other thing, the show targets cast bar is really useful. Show target of target cast bar is really useful. Insufficient bag space alert I always keep on. You can close the tutorials if you don't want to see tutorials. You can turn on frame rate. For functionality, I always do the double tap to dash, keep that on, and double jump to deploy glider, which is very useful because then you don't have to have your glider on your bar either. So with that, you can then drop your dash because dash is no longer useful, and you can drop your glider because, well, you don't need a glider if you can double tap to pull your glider. So that automatically gives you 2 more spots, and most of these other things are kind of pointless anyways, but I'll keep them on here right now. So now if you double tap W, you go into your dash. And if I had a glider on this guy, if I double tap jump, he would jump on his glider. So other than that, other thing you should know, tab is to target. Targeting only works on creatures in front of you. So it'll only target creatures within X distance and only if they're within your view range. They will never target creatures that are not in your view range. If you turn to the side, I won't target anything. So that's another nice feature that they have in this because it makes it so that you don't accidentally target that creature behind you. One of the big things I'd say is get used to, until they come out with a way to camera lock, get used to holding down R, your right trigger. I really think this game deserves a lock camera because it really is a game that it could benefit from the lock camera to mouse. But until they decide that's a feature they want to add or someone makes a mod for it, right now you gotta hold down that right trigger. As far as classes, here's your base class and your additional class, and then basically you have the emotes. Proficiencies is things that are like crafting. So that's all that. And then there's actually different languages in the game, so you can't speak everyone's language. So in order to get proficient at other people's language, you gotta listen to them speak. So yeah, that's another interesting one that they threw. So I'm gonna do a couple of quick things here, show you guys around. First off, you got the current area. And then you can, if right click and expand out, see the whole continent that you're on. Here's where I said like you got crisis areas and areas that are in contention, where basically you can see like there's a world gate here that's letting people in and they're fighting there, and here you've got people fighting here. Things like that. That's stuff that you want to avoid while you're leveling up, unless you want to be part of that, which it's encouraged. I mean, you can level up through PvP if you want. Other than that, you also have multiple ways of traveling around in this game. You'll get a mount pretty early on. I mean, not this early, but within a couple more levels, I'm pretty sure I get a mount. You also have the ability to travel via glider and travel via teleportation and a bunch of other things. So here I've got a teleport book. Teleport books they keep a list of everywhere you've been, and you can teleport to anywhere that you've been. So I'm gonna go to, actually, is there a city up here? It looks like there is. I'm gonna go up to the city really quick. And your dash works on your mana bar, so don't dash if you plan to attack afterwards. There's also these windstones, which will help get you around pretty quick. They're pretty much the same as dash, it's just it doesn't eat up your mana stone. It's a dash that's a mana stone-less dash, basically. Like, you click on one of these, you get the dash, but you don't have, it's a timed effect, it doesn't eat on your mana bar. So you can keep using these mana stones and keep your dash up with or without, like, using dash. In fact, you don't even have to stop. If you can get close enough to him and hit F, it'll keep your dash going. Alright. So, other things. Everything in the world is harvestable. Trees included. So if I want this tree, I can go, yeah, I want to uproot the tree. Go for it. So he'll sit here and he'll dig a hole. And there, got a tree. Oh my gosh.
And perform other vocational activities.
Sorry about that. So pretty much everything you run into is going to have a harvestable. There's a lot of bushes and trees and plants and all kinds of things that you can harvest from. Harvesting basically out here in the wild, when you get them harvested like that, is just going to add the item to your inventory. And then after you get it in your inventory, it's just going to be something that you can plant later when you get a house or a farm or something like that. Also to go over, you also have these Gilda stars, and these things, they're used to buy most of the big name items in the game. Boats, houses, cars, gliders, you name it, you pretty much can buy it with these. There's a specific zone to buy them from, which is actually where I'm trying to get up to, is get up to one of the portals that takes you to one of those zones. Oh no, they've all seen me. Whatever shall I do? So up here in this city up here, because this looks like a more standard city. I've actually never played this cat racer, so. Yeah, here you can find portals and innkeepers and all this good stuff. So as you're playing the game, you've got crafting. Crafting's all these little glowing things as you're going around. These are crafting benches and crafting areas. Then you have, where is the inn? Maybe there's no inn here. Interesting. But when you have an inn, you can, there's a book in the inn. Oh, it's right here. Of course it is. There's a book in the inn. If you use this book, it allows you to bind your recall to a spot. So now I can recall back here. Then you got these portals that are created all over by players, where you can jump through their portals if they leave them open for other people to jump through, or you've got your own portals. And then I guess there isn't one in this city. Let me jump on my other guy, because my other guy's got it. Okay, so let me jump on my tune collar. Okay. I'm pretty sure I logged them out around a city. Yeah, it's pretty close to one. So I'm just gonna recall back to a city really quick. Alright, so here I am at a city. Oh, this is just the one up the hill. Interesting. So, a couple things. Let's go with mounts. So once you get a mount, your mount stays with you. Like, it's not just a mount. It follows you around, it levels up with you. As you can see, my mount is 22, I'm 28. So, if you want your mount to level up, you gotta let it follow you around. You don't always want it following right on top of you. So there are things that you can do here as far as like setting it to follow you, stop, stand by, so it's not right in the line of fire all the time. Because there are certain mobs that will do AoE and they will decimate your pet if you have your little mount following around. As far as your mount goes, they're not super fast. They go pretty well. I mean, it's a lot faster than walking everywhere. This guy, I've actually got the glider. So let me show you some gliding really quick. This is where you'll see that double tap gliding comes into effect. Jump. So here I'm going to use this big hill because there's a big hill going down into the valley over here where I'm going. Alright, so... Alright, double tap, and there's my glider. Now, since this is a more advanced one, it's got nitro, which allows me to fire off gunpowder to propel myself, so I'm gonna do that. Make myself go a little bit higher. So I'm heading over to this main city to show you guys. Basically, it's called the Mirage Island, and it's where you use those Gilda stars to buy everything in the game or see anything that you want to see. I see a lot of guides where they just show you the combat, and while I say the combat is important, and knowing some of the basics about the game is going to help you more than the combat will. I'll show you some of the combat too, like here, I'll drop off into this water here. Apparently the water was not deep enough. Alright, so here's some of the combat stuff that you should know. One, classes are different classes work with each other, and the way you can tell is this combo down at the bottom of each ability says what it combos with. So here I've got one, when consumed with the charm effect on target inflicts fear. So here I will charm the target and then inflict fear on the target and make him run away in fear.
Target is facing the wrong direction.
So there's stuff that you can combo stuff with, like that one I can combo with this one, which does the combo effect where it gives me HP and does done damage to him. Basically, it's just stuff that you gotta learn. The way you can tell when you have a combo is it'll do a orange outline around the hotbar button to tell you that, hey, this button can be comboed with that button. Things like that. It's just kind of as you play, you'll kind of get the idea of which things combo with which things. But they all tell you at the bottom if they can be comboed. Like here, you've got nothing that can be comboed with it. But it does say it does inflict. It does inflict the stunning and or mesmerize effect, which this is the charm effect, the mesmerize. Alright, let's run up into the city. While I'm running up here. And there's a huge variety of mounts and items that you can get. All of that you're going to learn as you're going through. Right now, they have a bunch of stuff that's kind of going through changes, like these merchant coin purses, which used labor to open. They're actually going to be changed and not use labor anymore. But that's still being worked on, like it hasn't been implemented yet. So in some cities, when you come to the city, you're going to find a portal that looks like this, which is like a doorway. When you find these, this goes to the Mirage Island. So if I go through this, it takes me over to Mirage Island. And Mirage Island is kind of a neutral territory. It doesn't have a faction, it doesn't have a side, no one can attack anyone, but you can try everything. It lets you try out boats, planes, cars, houses, gliders, mounts, you name it, you can try it. It even allows you to kind of look at the looks in game and see what you want to get as far as looks. So here I'm gonna go down, and as you can see, like here, there's opposing side factions here, and we don't fight because it's a non-fighting area. So here you've got specialty mount armor, and you'll see these coins pop up above them saying, hey, buy me, buy me. Some of the armors. On this side you've got more of the like cosmetic stuff. And cosmetic armors. And the way you find your way around here is there's these balloons that show what's underneath it. So you've got cars, you've got gliders, you've got housing, you've got boats. So if I want to go over to the boats, I'll go down there. And there's both sides. Like on that side is the opposing side's boats and everything like that. So you've got both sides boats and both sides everything. And here in the middle you can see there's these test areas where they let you test out the boats, and you can kind of see if you like the boat or not like the boat and all that kind of stuff. And it kind of just gives you a generic idea of like things that you want to buy and build and put together, because even though you buy the blueprints for them, you still have to actually build the boat. Like buying it does not give you the boat. Yay. Alright, so here are the boats, and if I go close to it, you'll see there's that Gilda star up there, and I can go, hey, yeah, 250 Gilda stars. Yeah, don't have 250 Gilda stars on this guy. But yeah, basically you can see all the boats here and see, oh hey, you know, that's a cool looking boat, and then you can try them out here and decide, hey, do I like that boat? Do I want to buy that boat? You got the cutter, which is the cheapest and the fastest because it's small, has no real armament. But yeah, you've got fishing boat, tradesman boat, and garrison boat, or tradesman boat, garrison boat. Sorry, backwards. And then you've got the ocean bungalows, which are like ocean housings. And they're pretty cool. They're not very big. I mean, you got like that. And I should note, there's no way to kind of get around on here. Like, you can use these portals to go back to where you came from, but there is no going to another area from here. It's always travel between here and wherever you left to get to here. So here you can see there's tons of different house designs, colors, all kinds of stuff as far as housing goes. You can even get, if you become one of those bigger ones, you can get castle pieces and castle sieges and all kinds of stuff like that. These are pretty pricey, but they're made for sieging and for anti-sieging, so yeah. It's kind of stuff that only guilds are going to really want to like buy and invest in and keep up. And over here you have some of the mounts and the racetrack and everything. You can see the mounts, kind of try out the mounts, and as you can see there's people that sit around and play around with all the mounts out here. You got the farm wagon, and the ballistas and all that kind of stuff, and you can see them here if you want to buy them or test drive them. And here's some of the mounts we're buying. That's basically the Mirage Islands, which is where you're gonna probably spend most of your time if you're buying anything, or you know, wanting to have that big house or that big boat. And I find that's where most people kind of get lost in this game, is that. And so I figured I'd show this off a little bit, because a lot of people are still kind of confused as to like, how do you get this stuff, and this is how. Most of it you're gonna take some time getting, because Gilda stars are not the quickest thing to get. And as far as this goes, there's a lot more to the game than just this area, but this is one of those big areas that you're, no matter what level you are and no matter what you're doing, at some point you're gonna come here and you're gonna want these things, and you're gonna want, you know, to know how to get them and where to go. So I figured this would be helpful. As far as each class goes and each race goes and all that, it's pretty much gonna be up to you. You pick a side and you pick which faction you want to be. There are other things that you can do as far as like your character, and I'll kind of show them off a little bit here. So when you're playing, you have a bunch of stuff about your character, to the point where it kind of records your history about your character and kind of gives a general story about you. And so as you're playing the game, you kind of want to keep an eye out on that, because when you're playing, it's constantly recording what you're doing and like how you're playing and how you're, you know, participating with people. Because you can kill people. You can make yourself a complete outlaw and become a pirate and live on the pirate island. And to show you where Pirate Island is, Pirate Island is... it would let me. There we go. So Pirate Island is this teeny tiny place. This is the Pirate Island. The one downside of becoming a pirate, this is your home. That means you and every pirate on your server here. It's kind of a huge difference between that and one of these big continents, which is where you start off with, as far as like what you can build on that. Outdoor plots are very scarce here, and you can't really be a pirate and put your stuff on the mainlands because, well, it's the mainlands. We have better access to it, because when we die, we start off on our island. When you die, you start off on your island. So, things to think about. As far as the game in general, it encourages you to do these things called trade runs, which is basically you go to a city and you pack up your goods at that city for transport. And when you pack them up for transport, you're taking them from whatever city you pack them up in, and it's different per city. Like, you can't pack up everything in the same city. You got to go to different cities for different things. So basically, you're traveling around with packs trying to sell them to other cities that will pay you more depending on how far away you traveled. So traveling a further distance is kind of desired. It's what you're shooting for, and that's where the boats come in big, because most of the game is boats. I mean, you have land, but the water in this game far outweighs the land. You got here and here, and then all of here, and here and here and here. You know, it's all water. So it's kind of going to come down to how far away do you want to take your goods. And usually this is about as far as away you can get, is if you take stuff to this island. And so most people do that because you're going to get paid really well, but it's really dangerous because everyone knows this island, and no matter where you're traveling to this island from, eventually you have to come to the island itself. So people hang out on the island, people hang out around the island, and they'll try to go after your packs. That's if you want to go to that island. You can always stay on your own continent and, you know, take an item from this city and bring it all the way over to this city. You'll get paid well. You won't get paid as well as going to there, you know, but you'll get paid well. Transport is kind of an iffy thing, because when you're using mounts, like, you'll even see on the mount descriptions, it says like they can't transport goods. There's only a few mounts that actually can transport goods at a decent speed, and those are like donkeys and cows and stuff like that. Like, they have to be something that it can handle the weight, and deers and horses and whatnot can't handle that extra weight. So getting something to help you move at a normal speed while traveling with a pack on your back is kind of a desired thing as well. And those donkeys are here. Cows, you have to breed them. I won't go into the whole breeding of this game because, yeah, that's a huge thing on its own. As far as the marketplace goes, marketplace is pretty much the same as every other game, and just buy the stuff that you want. You can kind of get a quick look at what it'll look like on your character by clicking on it and seeing what it looks like, you know. Some of the things are kind of broken, or at least they were. Yeah, the gliders still don't work. But overall, there's going to be a requirement to go prestige in order to place land plots when the game goes live, and that's only to place them, it's not to keep them. So basically, keep that in mind when you start the game, because prestige is basically like the subscription model. So if you want to be all about the houses and stuff like that, you may want to start off with the prestige right away. Mind you, it will take you some time to get up all the materials that you're going to need, like the logs and stone and everything you're going to need in order to be able to do that. But it is possible to do it pretty quickly, and I've seen people within like first couple of weeks of a beta already have a house up and, you know, be doing all that kind of stuff. Anything else? I think that's pretty much everything. Basically, the game's looking pretty good. I gotta say, they've done some things that have impressed me a lot. The attention to detail in this game is kind of the biggest thing that impresses me, like the horses knowing when I'm climbing up a hill and changing the way they run, and even struggling, like you can feel like they move a little bit slower when they're going up a huge hill, and the fact that when you fall you kind of break your leg and stuff like that. I mean, those kind of attentions to detail are things that have been kind of lacking in the game lately, and The one thing I will say against the game is well, it is Tryon. They're doing a pretty good job with the servers on this game, so I'm hoping they keep up the work. And that, and combined with the PvP in the game, the PvP could go either way. I mean, right now on Alpha, it's kind of found its balance. It's not really super troll. It's not really super not troll. There are the troll guilds that will like follow people around and just make their lives living hell. But there's just a big enough alliance faction to counter it. So it's kind of, I don't know. It's one of those things where it depends when the game launches, how it does. So aside from that, I'm giving it a huge thumbs up as far as you should try it if you can get into the betas and give it a try. And hopefully this guide helps you get in there quicker and get leveling up quicker. There are overquests, I should mention that. Overquests allow you to quest faster and level up faster, which is basically whatever a quest asks you to do more than it. So like if a quest asks you to pick up or protect 60 of 30, if you protect protect 30, if you do 60 instead of 30, it's an overquest. So you get more experience and it goes, hey, you did more than what the quest asked, we're going to give you more. So doing that is useful. And I would totally recommend it if you're leveling up because it makes you go so much faster and it feels so much less grindy. There are other ways than questing to level up. You can, you know, do the whole just grind it out. You can just kill mobs. I've seen a lot of the botters do it where they just grind mobs and they level up that way. You can also just do PvP. PvP in this game rewards experience just like a mob would. So killing players gives you experience, which means killing players is a good thing to do when you can do it. I don't suggest always doing it because, well, if you get to the point where you want to become a pirate, you're going to be on Pirate Island by yourself. Well, not by yourself, there's a lot of pirates, but I haven't decided if I'm going pirate yet on one of my guys. It's just, there's a lot of against piratism because it records everything about your character, which means they can see when you do, you know, crimes, and when you do crimes it counts against your character kind of, and if you get caught by going to one of the mainlands and your crimes get read to you by a trial and you get sentenced to jail, you're basically going to be stuck in jail for X amount of time until like you can either break out or someone can break you out. So in essence you kind of lose that character for being a criminal. Yeah, just some heads up. Overall, give it a try. Hopefully you guys have as much fun as I do, and I look forward to seeing you in game. I'll talk to you guys later.